Hi there guys, this is Cassandra. I'm a Riffle in Time and I'm so glad you're here. Today we're doing another VR. This one's by Art Garden Oracle. This is the top 10 deck pairings or top 10 pairings. I was really excited about this one because I love to use my decks kind of interchangeably and together all different ways. A few of these actually is going to be one deck paired with like 2 or 3 different decks, so it's going to be fun. I am going to actually flip you overhead and we'll look at the decks instead of this face to face. I just wanted to say hi first, but to do so, if you can't see, I'm in the living room. This is a little different of a vibe, but I needed a sturdier table. I'm gonna flip you over and we're gonna get into the decks. I'll see you in a sec. Okay guys, we're here with our first pairing. This is Love Oracle of Eden and the Lucid Dreams Tarot. This is the Black Eclipse edition. I was looking for something to pair Love Oracle of Eden with, and when I got in the Lucid Dreams, I didn't match them at first, but I started looking for one for this as well. And they kind of just found each other. I think at first it was just a purely aesthetic pairing because I really loved the gold foiling on both. And I thought they just really looked good together. I think they really just shine. As the backs even, like, it just felt right. But the more I use it, the more I really feel like they also are speaking together. Okay, so next we have this is our center piece of the pairing. So we have 2 separate pairings coming up, both centered around the Death Doula. So I think this is like my most consistent pairing with the Death Doula. But recently I actually used it with another deck, and I want to show you that too because I really love it. And I'm kind of notorious for just really trying to use Death Doula Oracle all the time. But first, we have here the Somnia Tarot with the Death Doula, and I really love their energy together. I think that the colors just always feel really right, and I find that when I go to the guidebook here for the Death Doula, it really plays well into the tarot, meaning I'm already getting from this. And it also, since this deck a lot of the times the Death Doula gives you kind of a ritual or some sort of thing to do afterwards. It's like taking this and applying it somewhere. So that's some of my favorite things to do, is have this deck with a tarot deck because it gives me an actionable step after without me like having to work as hard to figure out what that step is. But also, I was pairing just recently, I think I did a post pairing these 2 together, and I really loved, I think I got the Knight of Swords with one of these cards, and it just, they were singing almost. And I think that this is a hard deck for me to pair. I think Tarot of the Holy Spectrum, not because either edition is like not fitting with any decks, it usually likes to be alone, to me at least. It likes to read by itself. It's definitely a deck that I don't often look for a pairing. Sorry, flip that upside down. But when I paired these together, they really were speaking the same language. Whereas they might not be aesthetically as pleasing as the Somnia, I think they were really playing off each other well and keeping that unison and the unity in their message. So some of these are like complete pairings that are just like separate decks, separate creators, separate artists, but I had to be honest, some of my favorite pairings are sets. So decks by the same creator or decks intentionally made for one another. And I don't think there is a better set, like collection out there for me than the green Glyph. using like the decks together. So we have the tarot, we have the oracle here, and then we have the rune deck. And I cannot stop using them together. And I actually love to use the dice too. I make it all, it's like a whole big event. So these were actually like made together. Like the collection was made all together, and the thought of like everything being, again, aesthetically pleasing was intentional. But I think these decks are really cool because just because they're in a collection made by the same person, they still have a lot of differences. It's not like, at least in my opinion, I feel like I'm repeating the same thing over and over again. There's different characters, there's different energies. We're just gonna, but they really sing together. Before, let me not get too crazy here and start putting things in the wrong place. But I really love them. And obviously, like, this is an easy set because it is so aesthetic. It's so beautifully put together, but also the energies of the decks, they feel well together. And like they have really nice guidebooks, and it's just so great to have something intentionally done like this. I could not leave them out just because they are technically like decks made together. I didn't want to leave out my honest, probably favorite pairing currently would be these decks. And I really just can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop, don't want to stop. Okay, so up next is Smoke, Ash, and Embers, and then the Energy Archaeology Oracle. So one day I was like really kind of looking for just which decks I was going to use that day, and I was like, I need some guidance. Where is it coming from? And like I heard in my head dragons and bones. That's where my message was coming from. So I grabbed my dragons and I grabbed my bones, and here we are, and they fit so well. And for any deck to pull me from the natural pairing of it had to be a strong deck. So Energy Archaeology Oracle is one of my workhouse oracle decks. So it had to be really something special to pull me away from the natural pairing, which would be the next set. So I actually have for a very long time paired Energy Archaeology Oracle with Future Ancestor Tarot. But I've recently wanted to kind of branch out and find them some new homes, because it's been years that I've pretty much since they came out. They immediately went together for me. So I wanted to find something a little different for them to see how they were with other decks, and they've been doing really well. And I was really happy to find that Smoke, Ash, and Embers and Energy Archaeology were doing so well together. And it's let me use Future Ancestor with things like Roots and Wings Oracle. I really love that pairing. I had so many pairs today I wanted to do, so I had to really limit it. So there are plenty more. If you like to see things like this, I can do more videos like this. I have way more than 10 pairings I'm working with right now. But this is honestly a dream pair for me. This is like the Green Glyph collection. It is done so well because it was so intentional. These decks were created by the same people, you know. This is the same creators, the same illustrator. It's just, and Adam already is one of my favorite artists. So the fact that I love this it had to happen. Like I could not love this pairing. But I think it's perfect. I was so thrilled. I just recently got Thistledown into the shop, and I'm just over the moon. I won't spend long here because I will literally flip through the whole deck. And like I said, it's really hard for me to pull these decks apart. And before I had Thistledown, I was doing tarot and tarot. I was reading the two together because they feel so connected to me, and they just read so well together. that I couldn't separate them. And normally people think that's kind of a little weird usually to do tarot and tarot, but I really love it. And what started me on that is actually, I'll use that as my segue into my next decks. What started me on tarot and tarot was using, this is Outgrow Yourself, which is an oracle in tarot. And then we have Lifeline, the Color Outside Your Lines edition. So this was my first probably tarot and tarot pairing that broke me away from kind of the you can't do that vibes I had in my head. Because sometimes I have, not sometimes, I previously, on Vampire Diaries, you know, previously I had really been hung up on like the rules of what was supposed to be. And what happened was, if you can't see this poor box, I had some decks get damaged at an event, and I wanted to repurpose them. So what I did was I do keepsake readings where I send you the 2 cards I pull for you, and then like a typed out reading that has like kind of like a sticker backing so that you can like put it in your journal on the reading itself, and you get to keep the cards as like kind of a reminder. And these were the 2 decks, and it was so funny because it wasn't intentional that I paired them together at first, but now I can't undo it. This is actually my favorite 2 decks to read for others with. Some decks I read for solely myself with, but this really brought Outgrow Yourself out of the just for me pile, because for a very long time I only used Outgrow Yourself for myself. But I just, they've always like hit for me, and I really love them. And one of the things I like to do is when I am reading, I'm doing the keepsake readings, I will take the cards and I go on a walk and I will audio record myself, kind of the download I'm getting from the cards, and it's been really, really special. And I think that too has really solidified how much I love them together. Next up is another natural pairing for me. If you do know, Bakara is the common denominator in these decks. She is the creator with, this is also has Autumn, and this has Kaylee. Let me see if I can, there we go. But they both have, these are both Bakara decks. And if you follow Everyday Magic and you're part of the Sunday reading subscription there, you'll know that every Sunday, Bakara reads with these 2 decks together. This is my poor Wayhome copy. Do not judge this deck off of the intense ways that it has been treated. I learned how to riffle shuffle with this deck, so it has been places, it's done things. But it is a really natural pairing for me because this is what Bakara uses when she does the readings, and I can't unsee it. Now, I have used these decks with other decks before, but they come right back. It's you and me, baby. They're stuck like glue, you know? And I just love them. I love them. And before Visions, I used to do postcards. And if you don't know what that means, don't worry about it, because the other one's out of print. But the decks really, because of my experience of watching the Sunday readings all these years, I have really just, it's a concrete thing for me that these 2 decks will be together until the end of time. We have next probably my longest standing pair. This is a pairing that I have done much like I had Energy Archaeology Oracle and Future Ancestor Tarot together for the life that I've had them. This is also a set that I really have kept together and I don't stray too far from. Let me actually flip some of these upside down for you so we don't have a complete heckin' mess. Okay. Okay, so Roots and Wings and the Gentle Tarot. This is the mini edition of the Roots and Wings. It's actually an imperfect edition. And this is the linen version, which is like standard playing cards. So I am using the smaller sizes of these decks, but I love them together. I really do think that it seems to be no matter what I do, they come back. And I don't even have the urge to separate them anymore. I used to want to be like, well, you have to see someone else. Like, I have to share this, but no, they just really, I'm smitten with the combo. And I think because they both have really beautifully the same energy. It's very nature, very gentle, very, very soft and beautiful. And it's like they finish each other's sentences for me. And we love that. Okay, last is the biggest pairing. We have not all of, but most of Chingay's decks here is what it ends up being. We have the Practical Magic starter deck. We have Quiet Mystic Oracle. We have No Filter Oracle. And then the newest to my collection, but probably the most workhouse deck I have at this current moment. This is the Extraordinary Incantations Oracle / Tarot. And I really am obsessed with using these all together and any combination. I do, like, if I don't want to do that many cards, I will do any combination. But I just love them together. I love their energy together. And these are going to be all funky, upside down, and whatever which way. Because I use them all so much and I riffle shuffle them. But I just, hearts. I love pretty much most things that Chingay does anyway. So it's natural for me to really love and appreciate a creator and artist that I already love and appreciate. So doing so means I just use all of these decks all the time. But honestly, they read really well together. Especially because, like, it feels like No Filter and the Extraordinary Incantations have kind of that same, like, spunky energy. And then these really play well together too. So one of the ways I do is, like, I'll separate them that way because I feel like they pretty naturally will go together that way. If I want a more, like, fun, lighthearted reading, it's here. If I want a more, like, deep, serious reading, it's probably here. That's 10, I think. I'm pretty sure I stuck to the rules. That was, like, literally the only rule. So I want to show you more, but I won't because I really love to try my hardest to do the rules of the VR. So if you want to see more combos, I have a zillion combos. I really love, there's probably something about me being a Gemini and loving loving the variety of it all, but I love to mix and match. But let me know if you want to see that. I will do, like, a part 2 to this video. It's like just more pairings. Thank you for hanging with me today. There are plenty of other videos in this tag, so if you're really enjoying this, I'm going to link below the original video, and then I will also have, like, the tag. So if you click on that hashtag, it will take you to the rest of them. So I will be at an event this week, so I'm recording this and a couple days early, and I will post it on Thursday. I'm going to try to keep consistent with Thursdays. Last week, an event kind of threw me out of Thursday because it was a Thursday event. You know, if there's any other videos you're wanting to see right now, I kind of just do my own thing a lot of the time. But love you. Thanks for hanging today. I'll see you soon.